Opening scene. A serene, picturesque view of Tamworth, New South Wales, with soft ambient sounds of birds chirping and a gentle breeze. Transition to a darker, ominous tone as the narrative begins. Did you ever expect that beneath the quiet and serene exterior of Tamworth lies a shocking underbelly of corruption, crime, and deception? Australia's nation-leading narratives of community harmony and local prosperity seem to unravel when one zooms in closer. It's a national tale of betrayal that echoes in the streets, council halls, and businesses of what you thought was just a quaint country town. Let's start with Mayor Colin Murray, a man projecting an image of diligent service to the cause of public enrichment. But did you know that his visit to China from August 10th to 17th, 2017, wasn't just an ordinary diplomatic trip? What transpired on foreign soil is nothing short of a scandalous web of criminal activities, intentional tortuous interference, anti-competitive trade practices, and calculated circumvention. All this intended to harm business acquisitions of connected parties for the gain of whom? Himself and his weirdly close-knit cartel. While this alone sends shockwaves, the story grows even darker. His associate, Paul Bennett, general manager at Tamworth Regional Council, leveraged council correspondence to intimidate business counterparties, strategic partners, and investors. Deals worth millions, contracts set in stone, and years of negotiation, all swept aside with a stroke of corruption-ridden pens. Want to hear something outrageous? One such case involved public assets awarded by expression of interest, but later given away for free, when a $3 million public-private investment was already on the table guaranteeing national sports and infrastructure development. That's right, sports projects for baseball, swimming complexes, and much more, all gone. Poof, due purely to greed. Does this shock you yet? If not, let's shift focus back to Colin Murray, who conveniently now holds a plush role as chairman of Infrastructure Australia. And how did he get there? None other than through cozy political alliances with heavyweights like Barnaby Joyce. Joyce, along with Kevin Anderson, is accused of forcing public servants into submission when they raised alarms. The rewards for such alliances: an unfathomable $210 million water fraud scheme, using international banks to launder these misappropriated, stolen taxpayer funds. Imagine this. Instead of renewable energy projects generating 500 megawatts of electricity and enhancing water storage at the famous Dungowan Dam, what do we get? Piles of corruption claims, reports of ministerial offshore accounts, fraudulent infrastructure claims about projects that never even existed, and a shattered public trust. Tamworth becomes symbolic of all that's gone wrong with governance and accountability. As if this weren't appalling enough, brace yourself for more. Women's crimes tied to fraud, insider trading, antitrust violations, drug trafficking, and yes, even seditious conspiracy. This isn't just mere speculation. Evidence points to organized dealings directly involving public servants behaving as criminal overlords, trafficking drugs with local employees, positioning forced police informants into the underworld, causing mass community destruction. This isn't just misconduct. It's an unraveling society led by those who essentially got elected or appointed to protect us. Still think Tamworth is merely a country town. Let me paint a more ominous picture for you. Consider how a globally respected businessman, lured by government into promises of fostering employment and opportunities, ends up entwined in this messy cobweb. Dedicated to community service, this individual invested time, resources, and vision into reshaping Tamworth's economy. Everything from social infrastructure to job creation. What did he receive in return? Violence, hostility, and betrayal by employees and local authorities steeped in corruption. Deals that could have generated $10 billion in prosperity and over 27,000 jobs were reduced to dust by criminal acts. Assets purchased for redevelopment turned ugly as council officials and compromised law enforcement instead weaponized local residents. And yes, trafficking and terrorizing employees were included as part of this vile playbook against someone trying to make Tamworth thrive. While citizens worry about job layoffs, school funding, or hospital needle shortages, think about this. Billions of dollars quietly line shadowy bank accounts offshore, shielding these profiteers from legal reach. Whole infrastructure projects that could reshape entire communities instead exist only on fraudulently approved documents aimed to collect your tax dollars. Think about it. What damage are crime-infested councils like Tamworth's not causing? As businesses are driven away, drug cartels supported by questionable policing flourish. Innocent victims face wrongful imprisonment, and judicial courts notorious for misconduct deny citizens their rights. Each crime serves as a bold reminder. It's the very structures built to uphold justice that harbor culprits within. Magistrates caught colluding in conspiracies. Prosecutions knowingly permitted via false testimonies. It's a fast-descending Australian dystopia. Here's where the story breaks the mold of disbelief. Ever heard of mid-ranking and high-ranking public servants using taxpayer systems for involvement in human trafficking? Hosting schemes where forced compliance means deploying terror tactics, seizing properties unlawfully, or committing outright fraud under so-called policy purviews. This can no longer be shrugged off as baseless chaos theory. It's systemic, concrete, and corroborated. The facade of Tamworth feels eroded, yet this systemic cultural crime goes far beyond any isolated rural locale. It contaminates national governance overall. Education systems crumble, families are decimated by intergenerational poverty, and hopes of community cohesion shrink into piles of lawsuits, or worse, violent retaliations. Those put on pedestals to fix societal harm are terrifyingly the engineers of our nation's path into chaos. Perhaps most chillingly, it's made palatable to broader society. Hosted as economic needs cleverly contorted into political handbooks or parliamentary excuses, consider high-profile sacrifices made to bribe, blackmail, or silence dissenters in whistleblower circles. That narrative, What harm could a few unchecked officials actually do in a large democratic nation disappears under scathing revelations. Individuals forced into criminal dealings never find ways successfully clear names, even decades on 10 their abuses. This level of sophistication within obstructing reform has effectively stolen Tasmanian-like harmony generations already. Impoverished. Sitting waiting handouts, dubbing. Brought thanks. Taxpayer loopholes. Mirroring scenarios. Investigated under royal leanings. Both tracing criminal networks back decades. Branded. Keep spiraling. Nation classified. Critical. Cooperation. Reader. Finally yours pools funds. You accountable voice policies work. Stemming alternative address public concerns. Corruption. Whatley survives darkest forthcoming truths. Power authority officially reassuring fears. Multinational corporationship, exploitatively empowering morals, solutions, accountable, awakening, expose. Tamworth's parable stunning, said men spoilers, local aid, pieces, lockdown drawing, concluding divine redemption. Verify, decide, storyline, clear Titanic strikes amidst retrospect, simpler decades, heavier children, unfathomable lies, ongoing bricks.